Is y'all ready out here? Yeah! All right, okay. Here we go, folks. Go Bills, for we are here to cheer for you. Go Bills, we are your fans so true.
Welcome to the Post-Drought Reconstruction Podcast. This is the fucking TYPOD episode.
The TYPOD. I know you just really, really want to use that. You've been holding that in your back pocket for so long.
The second it happened on Friday, that popped into my head, and that's the only reason I want to do a podcast. I don't even want to talk about it. I just want to just do that.
You just want to call it TYPOD. Thanks for everybody for joining. Peace out. Good luck.
Yep. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for tuning in. Have a good 2018.
Bonus.
So yeah, man, fucking Tyrod Taylor is no longer a Buffalo Bill,
which we definitely had always been hinging upon and thinking about, and I think most Bills fans were thinking about that too. Was that
yes,
it was not something that we were necessarily really. We're not betting any farms on this, you know.
I mean, no one thought that he would be a Buffalo Bill,
and at the very least, you know, he would remain as perhaps, you know, just a go-between or a serviceable backup if they do go with what things look like right now. It looks like they're going to go through and grab a pick.
A blue chip, yeah. No, I mean, you know, dude, we'll get to the draft thing for you first, but or eventually here. But dude, I mean, I didn't think it would happen. You know, I don't know, I just didn't think it would happen when it did. And honestly, even more important than that, the compensation they got in exchange for him is crazy. It's fucking crazy.
You honestly think a third rounder is good?
Dude, it's the first pick in the third round. It's the 65th pick. It's basically a late second round pick.
Yeah, okay. I mean, you know, I suppose I'm used to sort of like, you know, with baseball and hockey and stuff. When you start going third rounds, like you're kind of like, all right, well, you know, these are 40% chance players that actually play.
Yeah, football compensation is weird, man. No, third rounders. You know, the Preston Brown, I believe, was a third rounder, and you know, they're saying he might make. You know, he started all four years he's been on the team. He's been a starter. He led the league in tackles last year.
Right.
And he was a third round pick. So that's just an example. You know, like third round picks are usually at minimum serviceable starters. You know, probably on average or close to. I don't know who the hell.
Good.
Shot in the dark.
So that's all good stuff.
Yeah, man. I mean, dude, Jimmy Garoppolo was traded to the 49ers for the 43rd pick in the draft. So 22 picks later for Tyrod.
Wow.
And like, you know, I mean, Tyrod Taylor's not bad, but he sure as hell is not as good as Jimmy Garoppolo looked in those 5 games that he played for the Niners this year. So
absolutely.
Jimmy Garoppolo had way more hype behind him too. So even on top of what he either one may end up being long-term, like what the perceived value of either of those players was, you know, for them to be that closely with the picks that they get traded for, to me is a pretty damn good take, pretty good haul.
And they also save a lot of cash.
Yeah, well, dude, they saved a ton of cash. That was the big, you know, that was the really surprising thing, I guess. You know, the third round pick is fantastic, but even, you know, when they were talking about the possibility of trading him, because, you know, everyone knew that they didn't want him. So the the projections were that at best, if they were able to get something as a trade, they would have to at least eat his roster bonus, because like he was going to make $18 million this year, and the roster bonus was $6 million. That would have to be paid out on Friday. I think it was. So, yeah. So what they were saying was like they'd have to maybe they ate that, and a team only had to pay him $12 million this year, then maybe that would be a good enough situation to actually get an asset in return that was worth something. And even that was like 4th, 5th round, they were saying. So to get a third round and not have to pay him any of his money is fucking fantastic. And such a good job.
And just going back to the Browns thing as well, does this mean that Taylor's going to be their number one guy? Are they still going to, do you think they're still going to go and pick a quarterback?
The Browns, yeah. I mean, it's the same thing we're doing. You know, they're going to pick a guy high in all likelihood, anyways. And Tyrod Taylor is just a guy. I think the big thing is the reason. You know, there's 2 factors that I think make it not such a horrible. Even though I think the Bills kind of pulled a heist off in what they got. I don't think that doesn't mean that the Browns
Right.
got fucked. I don't think. They have won a shit ton of picks, so they have a lot of assets to use for these things. And they've had all those trades on Friday. Jarvis Landry they got, and they traded for that cornerback out of Green Bay. So they are in the mode to try to win now, and that's the other thing. Like, they've been so shitty for so long that I think he will be a better quarterback. Like, they will be a better team with him at quarterback than they were last year, and that is important to them. That they are not, even though they are going to draft a guy that's their long-term starter, their long-term quarterback of the future. They needed a guy and they need a team that is actually going to be competitive next year, and not Deshaun Kaiser throwing 30 interceptions.
And I also think that just when it comes straight from the management, Buffalo management, it shows the rest of the players. It shows, like, boys, we're ready to make some moves here. We've stockpiled for a while. Like, we're going to trade up. We're going to get a guy who's going to be our guy. Like, for all intents and purposes and prayers and miracles, this is going to be our Tom Brady. This is going to be our Drew Brees. Like, this is going to be our
100%. Yeah, no, dude. I mean, it looked like that. It's pretty much since they traded down last year and got 2 picks for this year. It's looked like that's been their goal. They are, it's been a long time since Buffalo's front office looked like it had a really good long-term plan and then actually stuck to it responsibly and methodically. And that's exactly what they're doing. Like, getting that 3rd round pick for Tyrod. And then since then, they traded Cordy Glenn away to move up on top of getting that 3rd rounder. They now, instead of having the 21st and 22nd picks in the 1st round, they have the 12th and 22nd pick. In exchange for another player, just like in the same case as Tyrod. Like, he was just not in the plans. You could, they benched Tyrod Taylor for a 5th round draft picks last year, and Cordy Glenn, even once he got, he never really was healthy last year. He had a bad foot, but the guy that they drafted last year, drawing a blank on his name, I can't think of it right now, but basically the guy that started left tackle for him all last year, and that was Cordy Glenn's position.
Deion Dawkins,
yes.
Deion Dawkins, that's the guy.
Yep. So, he stepped in and played pretty damn good. Maybe not quite to the level that Cordy Glenn has demonstrated he can play at when he's healthy, but close enough. And particular, considering Cordy Glenn was their 2nd highest player after Tyrod. They've now traded away their 2 highest paid players for 2018. And, there's a little bit of dead cap money they got to deal with this year for those 2 players. But next year, those guys are gone and off their books. So that's another player that they didn't want, basically, and they got a team to give them something very, very valuable in return, and that's hellacious general managing by Brandon Beane.
And well, I mean, and Kyle Williams? Are we moving on to that as well?
Well, yeah, if you really want, we can, I guess, go into all the, free agency has not technically started yet,
right?
But the way this shit works, this 2-day span beforehand, pretty much everything does get done. At least the bigger signings all happen even before they can technically do so tomorrow at 4. But yeah, so they re-signed Kyle Williams, and it looks like they're signing, which is I want to give myself a little pat on the back here, because this is one of the players that I said was a good target for them. Star Lotulelei out of Carolina, which
Lotulelei.
There's actually a video. There's a video you can Google of him trying to teach someone how to pronounce his name correctly. That's a pretty good watch.
That's great. I thought you were going to tell him that Tonga was going to teach him how to do a proper haka. And I was like, that would be sick. I think the Buffalo Bills should completely adapt the All Black style when they're coming out before every game, rather than do everybody getting a thing. They should break out in serious Buffalo haka, like the mafia mix of death or something. It would be. Oh, sorry.
You're breaking up.
I was saying,
bit.
Like, instead of everybody getting in and like game time, they should just break out into like an all black style haka and like have Lotulelei completely like do this wonderful Tongan dance that's all about intimidation and death.
I haven't seen the Carolina pregame. Maybe from what I've read, he's a very big locker room guy and a good leader. So perhaps he will choreograph some sort of something. Yeah. Him and Kyle. I mean, they'll be playing right alongside each other. Maybe Kyle Williams is a big rah-rah guy too. So maybe maybe they will put together a little pregame fucking performance of some kind. I'm all for it.
Great.
Go team. But yeah, man. So basically getting Williams back and then signing what I think is a good pickup. And and like I said when we were talking about defensive tackles, he was in McDermott coached him for 4 years, I think, in Carolina. So he knows what he has or what he is rather. And if there were shortcomings, it's a 5-year deal too. So it's not like a bullshit prove it kind of deal. Like we don't know what the numbers are yet. They haven't come out, but 5 years is a long time to sign someone. So if he didn't really have a strong belief that this guy could step in and be a significant contributor every week, he wouldn't have a deal like that, So
right, and the fact that they already have that relationship, and the fact that they are definitely, as one-on-one, if you will, like it's always nice when you have coaches and players who have developed that relationship, be it in college or with other organizations within the NFL. And you have that, you have that sort of shorthand,
definitely,
which is, especially in,
that's a good point.
In the 16-game season,
Lotulelei also knows what McDermott is going to expect, and that, while maybe not as significant, is certainly not a bad thing.
Right.
That he knows what he's walking into, and he shouldn't have the acclimation period that perhaps a player with no experience with McDermott and McDermott's system could have. So yeah, man, no, it's that with run defense was a problem last year, a big fucking problem. So having what should be now the middle of their defensive line all set for 2018, as long as those guys stay healthy, knock on wood, that's a big improvement over what fucking one of our major problems was last year. So that's very cool.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm just looking now. The Bills allowed a league high 18 rushing touchdowns and an AFC worst 1,487 yards.
The middle of the
after trading Marcel Darius in week 8.
Yep. No, dude. So yeah, we went to the Jets game and they got ran over.
Oh yeah, they did.
And then I went to the Saints game the next week and they got fucking steamrolled, dude. I think they gave up like 200 yards or close to
of those yards. I'm just continuing to read this here on ESPN. Of those yards, after trading Marcel Darius, of those yards, 1,105 were inside the tackles. The opponent's 4.8 yards per rush inside the tackles was tied for worst in the NFL. So I guess for all our hopes and dreams in the upcoming season, we have solidified, if not definitely put some caulking over that hole for the time being.
Remember the stuffer, dude. The stuffer.
Yeah, we've definitely got some some magic tape around it. We've duct taped it a little bit. We're waiting to bring in some big steel girders and rivet the hell out of it. But for now, at least, we've got a little bit more hold so that the bow of the boat isn't breaking necessarily.
Yeah. Yeah, not taking on quite as much water. Yeah. And that's one of the things I just saw too. Lotulelei has played in front of Luke Kuechly, who is considered, if not the best middle linebacker in football, very close to in Carolina. So, there's no way to really prove it, but Luke Kuechly is probably as good as he is, in part because he doesn't have to deal with the guy that Lotulelei has been stuffing every play in front of him, So hopefully whoever the hell we have come in and play middle linebacker next year, and if it's probably not going to be Preston Brown, I don't think, because I can't even remember who it was, but someone just signed with the Chiefs for $9 million as a linebacker. And he did not lead the league in tackles last year. So that probably means that Preston Brown is going to want at least very comparable money, and I don't think there's any way in hell that they pay Preston Brown $9 million a year, because he's not worth $9 million a year. And they would probably much rather just get a linebacker in the draft or sign some sort of serviceable veteran that is on a semi-reasonable contract. So whoever the hell is playing behind him will benefit, hopefully, from Lotulelei stuffing, clogging the middle up alongside Williams,
Now, just going on to this other thing that I just caught here. We haven't talked about this, but who's Rafael Bush?
He is that's the other, if you want to call it, it's definitely not a big signing, but their other signing today was Rafael Bush, who is I think, like 8-year veteran, and he'll basically be a backup safety. Jordan Poyer,
okay.
yeah, okay. Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde are the starters. He's not even kind of a threat to them, but last year depth was a problem when Micah Hyde and Poyer, they stayed relatively healthy throughout the year, but there were a couple little short stints. I think Mika might have missed a game, or like maybe even just a half or something. I think he actually had to leave the Jacksonville game, the playoff game, for a bit, which was part of the problem probably in the second half. And this is a guy that, one, is probably healthier than Cole Anderson, and I can't even think the other guy's name that was the other backup safety last year, but they both had injury problems. Cole Anderson really bad with injury, and this guy has demonstrated dependability injury-wise, and is just, an 8-year veteran that I think he started like 4 games for the Lions last year, and then
he's a bit of a bit of a suitcase. This is his 5th team in 7 years.
Yeah. And like, I think he had 2 separate stints with the Saints, with the Lions, like the Bears or something. He's been around. So, not a big deal, right, but it is a very, very inexpensive contract, and some dependable veteran depth in the event that
$4.5 million over 2 years.
Yeah, that's nothing especially for a veteran, short of getting a decent rookie on a total rookie contract where you're only paying him like fucking $400,000 or something. That's about as good as you're going to get in the NFL for a serviceable backup. So I will take that.
Well, that's good.
So more responsible spending by our front office. So yeah, but those are the big like Bills signings. There was, I wanted to ask you, Phil, I don't even know if you've seen it yet.
Yes, please.
Are you sad that the Jets have signed Teddy Bridgewater, or are going to sign Teddy Bridgewater? Did you even know that happened?
What?
Yeah, it just finalized.
Oh, no!
It just finalized a little bit. He signed a 1-year deal, and they also re-signed Josh McCown. They have now signed 2 veteran quarterbacks. And these are all reports. Everything we've said so far is just a report.
Oh no!
Theoretically, as far as like technicalities go, tomorrow we could wake up when these things are supposed to actually happen, and none of this is real, and we've all just
you're saying there's a chance.
Say again.
You're saying the water bridge still might appear in the Buff Town. There's still a chance.
I guess it's not on paper technically, yeah. But yeah, man, I think that's fucking super weird, because the reports are that they told McCown he can start. So Bridgewater already knows he is not going into the season as the starter. So
maybe it's because of all the disarray at the quarterback position the Jets have had over the last billion years.
Yeah, no, I mean they do have no one. The Christian Hackenberg and whoever the fuck that other guy they have is.
And then also
the recent draft picks have been awful, but
also
still,
you
got to think they're going to draft one still. They're at pick 6. They had the 6th pick. And then signing 2 guys, and it's weird to me.
unless they're looking to flip, which is a possibility too.
Trade down, you mean?
No, unless they're listening to take the bridge and fire him somewhere else.
No, that's not. It doesn't work like that, bro. They don't sign players in free agency just to send them somewhere. The trade market is not that. We covered earlier. Like the trade market value system is all fucked up, and you never really get what a player actually is worth, in my opinion.
Right.
Which is why Tyrod coming for a third was such a great thing, because he's not worth that. Or he's not worth that as far as the economics of it go. A quarterback who is probably like middle of the pack quarterback in the NFL with there's no cornerbacks should be worth a fucking 3rd round pick, but I don't think he really was, which is super weird. But
right. Well, there's a sad tear face on my my makeshift emoji phone that I do not have, nor would I ever use. I've never used if I was ever going to use an emoji to describe what I feel right now about the Bridgeman, it's small tier. Single tier.
Yeah, I was bummed out too. I was talking to our buddy Shawnee.
All right.
Obviously, any listeners are not going to know who the hell that is, but a friend of ours, Shawnee, was a big Jets fan. He's actually a guy we go to the Jets games a lot or used to. He won't go to those anymore because they've been bad lately. But anyhow, I was talking to him a lot today about all this stuff, and particularly any Jets related stuff. And before the McCown thing happened, the Bridgewater had been a report all day that they'd been talking and they were close to a deal. So I told him, I was like, that's probably of the scrap heap quarterbacks, Bridgewater was that were in free agency out beyond Kirk Cousins. I was like, that's probably the one that I like the most for whatever reasons. And I was like, so, as long as they don't pay him $1 million, that's a good pickup for the Jets. Good job. And then, before that finalized, I saw the McCown report and I texted him. I was like, "Pah!" You go from like they were supposedly in the Kirk Cousins market to re-signing Josh McCown and not getting Bridgewater. And then right after that, I saw the report they were still talking to Bridgewater, and I was like, "What the fuck are they doing?" And sure enough, they signed them both to 1-year deals. So that's I don't know, man. That's crazy. Like I said, if they do this and then do not draft a quarterback at 6. They got to fire. Someone's got to get fired over there. They got to fucking fire someone.
Yeah,
that's
you'd
horrific.
You'd want to wonder what was going on there.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you got to you got to take the opportunity to get a fucking franchise quarterback when you have it. But if they don't want to and they want to trade it to the Bills, because that just Denver signed Case Keenum today, so that's the 5th pick, and at 4. Is the Browns' 2nd pick. They're already going to have the quarterback with the 1st pick, seemingly so. The Giants supposedly maybe don't want a quarterback, and the Colts definitely don't want a quarterback. So It's very possible that if the Jets did want to trade out of there and they were that stupid, that it would be a good trade for the Bills, or that would be a good trading partner for the Bills, because at worst, 2 quarterbacks would be off the board probably by then. I guess it's possible if the Giants did want to take one and Denver still took one, you could see 3 go off, but probably not. So the more people up there that want to sign a quarterback, the Giants, like I said, the Broncos signed Case Keenum. The Giants still have Eli Manning. And the Colts don't want one. The more people that up there in that top 5 or 6 that want to fix their quarterback other ways and leave quarterbacks in the draft
better
for
for
the
Buffalo.
Bills, that's great. All for it.
Wow. Cousins to Minnesota, Bradford to Arizona, Mike Glennon, Case Keenum,
guaranteed
Denver,
money. It's the first.
New York.
It's the first entirely guaranteed contract for an NFL player ever. Kirk Cousins, all like whatever the hell it is, 30 million, whatever that's 28 million a year or whatever it is, guaranteed for all 3 years.
Wow,
that's heavy. That's heavy. I don't know, man. I mean, Minnesota's like it's definitely the best destination for him. So good for him that he made probably the smartest choice of the options he had. But I don't think he's great. Minnesota's got everything. They got a good defense. They got those receivers are really good. It's a good situation. So all he's got to do is be pretty good, and they're probably a Super Bowl contender. I mean, they were in the fucking NFC Championship last year with Case Keenum.
Very true.
So I guess he's probably a step up from Case Keenum. So maybe they're just saying fuck it and taking a swing, even though he may not be worth what they're paying him.
And you're still not buying the whole Nick Foles baby on the market.
Do that. I think I don't fucking keep up with Philadelphia Eagles reports too much, but I heard on Bill's radio today, on WGR today, that they're asking for 2 first-rounders.
What?
Which is like supposedly kind of their way of saying they don't want to trade him.
Right.
So no fucking way are you paying 2 first-round picks. And honestly,
No
like
way.
I mean, even if they become more reasonable, like I don't think you whatever assets plural you give up for him, that you do that and still also trade up and get one of these rookies. So do I want them to take Nick Foles over the opportunity to draft the guy,
No.
especially if they can get up into like the 2nd pick? Supposedly the Giants are a very, very there's a relationship between him and Brandon Beane, and they're already talking, and that's what this whole get the 12th pick from Cincinnati was about. So I'd much rather see that happen. And they have so much now asset wise that I honestly don't even think they have to sell the whole farm. I think they can trade just some of these assets they have in this year's draft and still be able to have like a semi-normal set of draft picks to fill other holes, because there are plenty of other holes. So,
Right.
I guess probably the only other free agency thing that would what's up? Sorry.
No, I was just thinking. I mean, they still need to get somewhat a veteran. Like, do you go into game one with
no.
Peterman?
I mean, it's fucked because they probably, it's like the quarterback market it's not even this fucking period hasn't even started. The free agency period hasn't even started yet, and the quarterback market is pretty much dried up. I mean, the names I'm still hearing are Matt Moore, who's been Miami's backup and is supposedly one of the better backups in the league. And AJ McCarron is still out there. There's not a lot left, man. Bradford signed in Arizona, so Sam Bradford's off the market. They're paying him $20 million. That guy has made so much money, despite never being healthy. The walking injury has never been healthy.
Right.
I don't even know. Has he ever finished a season? I don't know. And the guy has made so much money. I mean, part of me wants to say, like, we don't even want them to sign a good guy to be that bridge quarterback, because there should be no incentive to stick with him whatsoever. Right. But obviously you don't want to lose either. And assuming that whatever guy they draft is not going to be ready day one, which is most likely the case, unless they maybe get Rosen or Darnold, whichever one the Browns don't pick at 1, and they do get up to 2 from the Giants. Maybe the other guy is that good and can start from day one, and this serviceable fucking veteran never has to fucking see the field, and that would be fantastic. If that's not the case, and some total fucking schmuck has to walk out there, and we're watching just dumpster fire games until the rookie's ready, that's going to be really hard to stomach after finally making it to the fucking playoffs last year.
Right.
So. Yeah, man, I mean, I guess we probably touched on all the Bills shit, all the TYPOD related subject matter. There was some big receiver movement today too, and that's probably a highly relevant thing, because that's something that I think the Bills do need. I think we've agreed that both agreed that the Bills do need. Watkins signed in KC. So Watkins is off.
Oh,
the market.
Really?
Yeah, $16 million a year. $16 million a year for 3 years. He's gonna be playing across from Tyreek Hill, man. Him and Tyreek Hill on the same or on opposite sides, and also Travis Kelce, one of the better tight ends in the middle of the field. So Pat Mahomes, the guy that the Bills basically traded to KC last year to trade down, and in that trade on draft day, is in a pretty sexy situation. And with Andy Reid's their coach, and he's a good offensive mind, So if he doesn't succeed, if Pat Mahomes doesn't succeed and make us sad that we didn't take him ourselves, that's a very bad job by him. He has to be really bad to not succeed in that situation, basically. So that happened. Allen Robinson signed with the Bears, I believe it is, out of Jacksonville. So that was a big signing, or one of the other big free agents. Who else receiver wise? Trying to think. Oh yeah, actually, I also want to issue a correction. Some of the free agents that I covered in that last episode that we did they're free agents, but they're either they're exclusive rights free agents or restricted.
Oh
yes, Josh Gordon is a free agent, but he's an exclusive rights free agent. So the Browns already tendered him an offer. He can't sign anywhere else. So he's not actually on the table until next year, unfortunately. And then the other guy, Enunwa, who he's a restricted free agent. So he's, it's possible that the Bills could sign him, but I couldn't find anything about whether the Jets had given him an offer. Like, basically, depending on the amount of money they offer him, that correlates with a certain pick that the Bills would, or whichever team, if another team were to sign him, would have to give the Jets in exchange to sign him at that amount or more than whatever they offered him, and that's kind of the way the restricted rights free agents work. So I couldn't find any numbers, actually. Let me see if I can Google that real quick.
I'm just going through right now. Bradford was actually talked about coming to the Bills here, and
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, that was one of the guys they were saying was a good fit for him or for them, But I don't want them paying $20 million. No way.
For 1 year.
No, yeah, that's not right. A Nunwa tender.
Well,
I can hear you watching videos over there.
yeah, sorry, yeah. I came right around, kind of.
At least they actually are sports related.
Yeah, very true.
We're like BuzzFeed videos with dumb
click.
shit come in.
Yeah.
Or yes, more racy material as well would also.
Oh no.
Yeah, dude, I can't find likely to receive tender here February 16th, but I can't find any actual information as to whether or not he got. Or wait, hold on, maybe this is something. Oh yeah, Jordy Nelson was cut by the Packers.
I saw that just now.
That's kind of interesting. I mean, I think he's a guy who is probably not as good as his good numbers are because fucking Aaron Rodgers is throwing him the ball, and that just like the Drew Brees receiver Willie Snead that we were talking about.
Right.
Oh my God. That's me trying to. Yeah, I can't find any Nunwa news. So hopefully hopefully they give him an offer or tender him an offer that is not too restrictive. I think to make it a first round pick, it's got to be in like the $2.7 million range or something that they have to offer him, and then a second round pick is 1.7, and anything below that, the Bills wouldn't have to give him any compensation. So
all right,
hopefully it's something below 1.7 million, because like I said, I do really really like him as a pickup because I don't think he'll be too expensive.
I can dig it.
Yeah, and then Jordy. Yeah, I mean, like I said, Jordy Nelson. I don't know, man. It would depend. You got to assume that he's going to get paid because he's a veteran and he's got good numbers. Even knowing it's going to be a hard argument to go. Yeah, but it was Aaron Rodgers throwing you the ball to his agent. I don't think he's going to. That'd be a tough sell, probably. So.
That's funny.
Yeah, man. So yeah,
right.
dude, fucking free agent bonanza. It was an action packed day, dude. I was out and about all afternoon, like I told you, and as the shit started hitting because they kind of said they weren't going to do much free agency wise, and Lotulelei is a huge signing.
Bing bang.
So yeah, that was huge, and obviously, the draft pick stuff with Cordy Glenn the other day is fucking incredible. So I couldn't be more excited. Like I told you at the last recording that I was fired up, and it's been the most exciting off season, and the past 36 hours ish have been fucking wild for the Bills. So.
Well, it'll be good. It'll be good. I'm excited to see what sort of comes down the pipeline in the next couple of days. And then obviously when we have the big draft special, it's going to be bananas.
Oh, dude, yeah. God, if they're in the top 5, I don't even know what I'm going to do with myself, dude. That'll be so fucking
I'm so glad that I'm not going to be in the same room.
Maybe, who knows, man? Maybe I'll be so excited. Actually, dude, I don't know for certain that I'll be out here because it's what day is the draft? The 20.
I don't know, June something, right?
No, motherfucker, it's in April.
Oh, well then.
NFL draft.
Maybe you will be around. Maybe we will be together.
It's April 26th, yeah. April 26th to 28th. So the first round will happen on the 26th.
All right.
Maybe. I hope I'm not here, but maybe I will be. In which case
we'll let it up to the gods.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Cool, man. Awesome. Well,
all right, brother.
This has been our breaking TYPOD episode. Thanks for tuning in so quickly. After we just cut an episode the other day, we were on a month interval before this, and now we're on a 2-day interval. So
hey, listen, when the Bills give you, be it fodder or they give you food, you just get in there.
Exactly. We are merely conduits. We are not decision makers. We are merely conduits of Buffalo Billsdom shit
and nonsense.
Yes. So, yes, thank you for listening to the Post-Drought Reconstruction Podcast. You can find us, as always, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, wherever, SoundCloud, that you listen to your pods. And I am Josh Folan. You can find me at Josh Folan on Twitter, at My Shift Key is Broke on Instagram. And
I'm Phil Burke, and it's Philly Burks on the Insto, and Phil Burke Ninja on the old Tweetaroo.
Fucking A. Go Bills.
Yes, Bills.
Come on, let's win for Buffalo.